So it's about 10:30 on a Saturday night in London. You can tell it's quite late here because it's actually dark outside, and at the moment it doesn't get dark till about 10 o'clock. I'm hoping you can't hear the sound of I think it's a birthday party going on outside. It feels like every time I sit down to do a video, all of my neighbours and the traffic and everything decide we need to be a little bit louder. So I'm going to try and work through it. As I did tell myself I was going to make this video today. It fell to the bottom of my priority list, let's say. So it's just another vlog. My partner's away for the weekend, so I thought instead of me just sitting at home, ordering food, eating sweets, watching back-to-back shows, I'd go out or something. I decided to take myself to the cinema to see the new Western by Kevin Costner, Horizon. Absolutely love a good Western, so it just made sense because my partner doesn't like them and it's 3 hours long, so I thought, you know what, I'll go see it myself. One thing led to another, and I saw my Western, then I did go look around a few bookshops, and now I do own 5 more books than I did before I actually went out to go to the cinema. So in the tradition of last week, I'll take you through the day, some of the footage I took, and then I'll show you the books that I brought at the end. So once again, I'm at my trusty little bus stop, and I'm going to go down to the tube station, get on the tube, and then go to Wood Green, where I'm going to the Cineworld to see Horizon, the new Western by Kevin Costner. Very excited about this film. I keep going on about it, but I love Westerns in all formats, including books, shows, movies, and video games, in brackets, Red Dead Redemption. That is probably my favourite game of all time. It's pretty quiet. I was expecting it to be a lot busier than it is. The day that I'm doing this video is actually London Pride, so I was expecting chaotic tubes and jam-packed buses, but it was actually really, really quiet. So it might be that I'm actually late and everybody else has already left. Fast forwarding through most of the travel, but I did want to take a moment to appreciate that seeing a tube pull up still gets me giddy with excitement, given that I'm not originally from London and moved here for university over 10 years ago. I'm actually the only person in the cinema, which is quite funny. So I'm taking this opportunity to get out the old Kobo, have a little read before the film starts, because I got here 20 minutes earlier than I needed to. So I basically just sat munching on popcorn and reading. Film's finished, absolutely loved it. 3 hours long, but I loved every minute of those 3 hours, and I'm eagerly awaiting part 2, which comes out in August. As soon as those tickets go on sale, I'll be pre-booking mine. Originally, this trip was supposed to just be me going to the cinema and then going home, but then once the film was finished, I was struck with a realization that, oh, there's a bookshop actually on this high street called The Works, which if you're not from the UK, I don't know if they have them anywhere else. It's a chain. They sell everything from books to stationery to the most random toys and bubble machines and all sorts of things. And I just thought, oh, let me go check it out because it's very cheap there. So I'm in The Works, and to be honest with you, there's nothing really that immediately takes my fancy. There's just so much going on in terms of the products they sell. The books on the shelves, I don't know, I know you're not supposed to judge them by the covers, but it's too overwhelming to keep going through every single one and reading the back. So I normally do just scan the front, and a lot of them I've either already got or heard of and don't really interest me, or they all look too similar. There's the whole Colleen Hoover vibe on this shelf, which I probably should just read one of them, but I look at them and it just doesn't do it for me at all. And then I go over to the right a little bit. There's a lot of historical fiction and non-fiction, which I am a big fan of non-fiction, but I'm just not really in the mood for that at the moment. To be honest, I don't really know what it is that I was looking for. I once came here and stumbled across the box set of The Witcher and brought that, and I absolutely powered through those in a number of weeks and love them. Love the series, love the game as well. So I was hoping for another magic moment like that, but these things really happen when you want them to. So I've given up on that, and I thought, do you know what? I might pop into the independent bookshop on the way home called House of Books. So I'll go back to another trusty little bus stop on the bus, this time no tube, straightforward bus journey up the hill to Muswell Hill. Again, enjoying leafy London in the sunshine. I get to House of Books and I always check in the window and on this table outside because they often put their best deals on this little table. Judging by the windows, it's mainly Pride. So heading inside, there's the main table at the front, and I've already spotted quite a few books on here. I've already mentioned my desire to read Yellowface, but also The Late Americans by Brandon Taylor is one I really want to check out. And The Fraud by Zadie Smith. I've seen posters of this all over the place and it sounds like something that I'd enjoy. And heading over to the left, just sort of scanning the shelves again. I've read The Shards by Bret Easton Ellis, and I
absolutely loved it. It was a queer thriller. I wasn't really sure about the ending, but if you've read it, let me know what your thoughts. If you haven't read it and that sounds like it's up your street, then absolutely check it out, because I did really enjoy it. I've already got Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and I haven't started it yet. I'm always waiting to be in the right mood because of what I know it's about, which is you sit in a coffee shop with a relative who's passed away and you can be with them until the coffee gets cold. I think that's the basic premise. I lost my nan last year, shortly followed by my auntie, so something like that just feels a bit too close to the bone for me right now, but I do hope to check it out at some point. I've always wanted to read, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Murakami, but I'm not really sure where to start. So if any of you guys have read Murakami and have suggestions on a starting point, then please comment below and let me know. Heading back over to the tables, again, just a quick scan. I've got Harlem Shuffle by Colson Whitehead. I love the Underground Railroad. I think it's him that wrote that. That is on my TBR. Shock, I've not got around to it yet. I've got Firestar by Stephen King. That's on my shelf. And The Sicilian by Mario Puzo. He wrote The Godfather. I've actually read that book. Absolutely loved it. I've never seen the film. Can you believe it? And I do want to read The Sicilian. Nothing else really that's jumping out to me at the moment. I did want to read A Death in the Parish. Again, I just have to be in the right mood for it. It's a bit like, I love Thursday Murder Club, but it's not something I can read. I couldn't read something like that every week. It's very specific, cozy crime. So yeah, I've got to be in the right mood for that. I'm having a look around. I've not really gone over to non-fiction. I don't know why I seem to be in a pattern of not looking at non-fiction, despite the fact I own quite a lot of non-fiction. I do plan to do recommendations for some mental health books actually that I have found to be incredibly useful, both as a student nurse and just in my own life. That's predominantly my non-fiction section actually at home, is mental health, psychology. Looking at the sci-fi and fantasy, I've got quite a lot of these. I do want to read The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman and Neverwhere, I think it's called. And at this point, I was filming the rest of the shop. I went over to non-fiction, but didn't realise I hadn't pressed record. I'd taken a photo, and then the walk from this shop to the second-hand shop that I go to, I thought I was filming. Again, I was just snapping pictures, and they're not even pictures I can put in here because it was the camera front-facing of my hand. So that was a massive error on my part, but I am new to this, so expect these errors, and we just roll with it. So this is the outside of the second-hand bookshop. It is Oxfam in Muswell Hill, and I go here quite a lot. I did make one purchase of the shop I was at before, but I'm going to elaborate on that more later on. So again, my shoddy cam will work. For all the footage that I'm filming, there are some random bits I had to cut out which were just photos, and the awkward thing is that the photos that I snapped were the books that I picked up and said, oh, I might get this one. I was just talking to myself, I wasn't even recording, so that was a waste of time. I was tempted to get The Last Orphan from the Orphan X series, but then I think I've got about 3 more to go till I'm at that point, so it would just sit on my shelf with all the other books that I haven't got around to yet. Every time I walk past this doorway, which is just full of books in storage, I'm desperate to just say, could I just have a look in here? Because when I can't find what I'm looking for in this part, I know that there's a whole mountain of books in the back, and I just think, for all I know, all the things that I want are in there. Quick look around, but I'm actually starving hungry. I got up, had my breakfast, ate some popcorn, and that was that. So then I realised that there were some books on the shelf that I want. At this point, I'm snapping pictures again. So I go up and buy those books, and then I decided to head home. I get home, have my lunch, I tell myself I'm going to film the rest of this video, and I sit on the bed. Then I think, let me lie down on the bed and just read for a minute, just let my food settle. And before I know it, I'm fast asleep. 3 hours goes by. Then I've got to call my mum, catch up with her. And then I think, right, I'm finally going to film this video, but it's actually night time, which brings me back to me sitting in the dark living room, explaining to you that there's a party going on outside, and then running you through the books. Here we go. And now, for me to reveal the 5 books that I brought. 4 of these were from a second-hand bookshop. One of them was from an independent bookshop called House of Books in Muswell Hill. And what I'm going to do is actually read the blurb from each one, because sometimes when I'm doing these videos, I try and give an overview of what the book's about, and there are moments when I don't even remember myself, and it's probably easier for me to just read out what the author intended to be given to the future reader as a summary of what the story is actually about. Book 1 is Red Dragon. Some of you might have seen a little social media photo post that I put up on the YouTube channel to say that I was actually reading this on my Kobo. I did see this physical copy for £1.50 and thought, oh, I would like to have it on my bookshelf because I'm really enjoying it at the moment. I'm a little bit sad that it's got the movie picture sort of cover on it, but I've still not seen another version anywhere, so I thought let me get it anyway. And I have actually skipped forward to where I am in the ebook and put my little bookmark there in case I want to jump back into physical. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't know why. Sometimes I read the ebook and then jump into the physical book, then back to the ebook. It's like I just want to make my life harder. Plot of Red Dragon, according to its blurb, this book, in the realm of psychological suspense, stands alone, exploring both the nature of human evil and the nerve-wracking anatomy of a forensic investigation. Harris unleashes a frightening vision of the dark side of our well-lighted world,
In this extraordinary novel, which preceded The Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, Harris introduced the unforgettable character, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, and in it, Will Graham, the FBI man who hunted Lecter down, risks his sanity and his life to duel a killer called the Red Dragon. Ooh, exciting stuff. Next is one that I hear a lot of people talk about, and it is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. It's a bit of a beast, so I impulsively brought it, and it is the sort of book that I normally get on Kindle or Kobo, because of the fact that carrying this around will drive me insane. But we'll see how we get on with this. I mean, the to-be-read pile is so massive at this point that this is essentially just a paperweight. And according to the back of the book, which I'm now looking at and realising they've put the price sticker. So days before his release from prison, Shadow's wife Laura dies in a mysterious crash. Numbly, he makes his way back home. On the way, he encounters the enigmatic Mr. Wednesday, who claims to be a refugee from a distant war, a former god and the King of America. Together they embark on a profoundly strange journey across the heart of the USA. Whilst all around them a storm of preternatural and epic proportions threatens to break. Scary, gripping and deeply unsettling, American Gods takes a long hard look into the soul of America. You'll be surprised by what and who it finds there. So I mean, yeah, reading the back of that makes me want to start this right now. There's praise on the back from Philip Pullman, George R.R. Martin, Stephen King. I mean, these are all authors that I love. So yeah, that's probably going to be shifting up on the to-be-read pile a little bit. Next we have the one non-fiction book in the pile, and the one that I actually brought from the independent bookshop, and is going to expose me as the nerd that I am, and I'm proud of being a nerd. It is The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs by Steve Brusatta. I think I said that right. If not, I'm so sorry. It was the science book of the year in the Times. I don't know what else to say. I love dinosaurs. I've always loved dinosaurs. Living in London, I've been to the Natural History Museum multiple times just to stare at dinosaur bones. I go there on my own, I go there with friends, I take my nephew, I take my little sister. I love it there. If I could, I would live there. When I saw a book literally just about dinosaurs, I just thought, you know what? Because I haven't talked about non-fiction much. I do actually read a lot of non-fiction, but a lot of it's more medically orientated or mental health, psychology stuff. It would be quite nice to just step into a world that's completely separate from that. The blurb on this book is pretty massive. You probably can't see it, but I mean, that is long. I don't really think I need to give too much information of what this is about, because the rise and fall of dinosaurs sort of tells you exactly what it's about. I think it's infused with his life. There's a little bit about his life and his journey and the discoveries that people have made about the rise and fall of the dinosaurs. And I liked it because there are some photos in here which you don't always get with non-fiction, so lots of photos of fossils and sort of charts and timelines and things. And I read a little bit of it when I got in just to get a feel for it, which I probably should have done before I brought it, but the cover is just absolutely glorious. So I was like, even if I hate the book, it will be displayed somewhere because I love the picture of the dinosaur on the front. We've got two left, but it's time for me to have a tea break because, as I've said before, I'm English. Tea break, London. So whilst these young people are outside screaming and having a party, I'm here sipping tea and making booktube videos. I know which one I'd rather be doing. Booktube. So the fourth book that I have procured today was again from a second-hand bookshop, and it is one I've wanted for a while. I almost didn't recognise it because the cover's different. It's The Great Believers by Rebecca Mackay. This is on my Goodreads to be read list. And again, the cover I saw, it was like orangey, sort of yellowy, like a pattern. So that's what I've always been looking out for. Then recognised the title and then realised that it was a book I've been wanting for a while. I told it's quite heartbreaking. It's half of the book is based around the AIDS crisis, and then the other half is set now. And I think it's dealing with a mother and her daughter who is missing in a supposed cult. I mean, it's so interesting without me even elaborating any further than that. But just for the purpose of what I said I would do, I will read the blurb. So, set in Chicago in 1984 and Paris in 2015, The Great Believers is a story of how love can both rescue and destroy us. A thrilling, addictive novel full of characters whom the reader comes to know as friends, colleagues, and lovers. I mean, what more do you need to hear to want to read this? It sounds excellent. Now the fight for the to be read list is heating up because American Gods was near the top. This is all pushed its way up, but then I still see my Kobo off camera looking at me as if to say, whoa, whoa, pal, don't forget that I'm here as well. There's never enough time for all the books. The final book is one that I was very excited to read and just hadn't picked up yet. I was waiting for it in paperback, but I saw this and couldn't pass up on it, so I ended up with a hardback. Again, secondhand bookstore. It is Holly by Stephen King. I was a massive fan of the Mr. Mercedes series, which is a little bit controversial because I know some Stephen King fans have torn it to shreds. But something I think is so important to live by is just because I like something doesn't mean I'm telling you that your opinion of it is wrong. And the same way, if I didn't like something, I wouldn't be trying to tell you not to like it. I liked Mr. Mercedes. I also liked The Outsider. Holly Gibney was in both of those. I think she was an amazing character, one of my favourite Stephen King characters. Ironically, I saw him in an interview talking about how she's one of his favourite characters. So when I knew there was a book focused purely on her, I just knew I'd have to get it. And it's crime fiction mixed with horror, so that's just right up my street. It's actually hard to find a blurb for this one because it's one of those books where on the back it's sort of loads of different opinions from different news outlets. There is a Stephen King quote where he says, "I could never let Holly Gibney go. She was supposed to be a walk-on character in Mr. Mercedes and she just kind of stole the book and stole my heart. Holly is all her, Stephen King." I agree with that. I think Holly's amazing. I've just found on the inside sleeve, Holly Gibney, one of Stephen King's most compelling and ingeniously resourceful characters, returns to investigate the gruesome truth behind multiple disappearances in a Midwestern town. In this thrilling novel, Holly is on her own and up against a pair of unimaginably depraved and brilliantly disguised adversaries. And then there is a lot more, but it's sort of, I don't know, some of that's sort of spoilerish. There's a lot of detail there, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But I think if you like crime fiction and Stephen King, then that's probably going to sell it to you enough anyway. It sold it to me. So yes, that is my books for today. And that is the end of my weekend vlog. I don't know how I'm going to display these, but I'll try. So there's 5 books that I didn't know I was going to buy today, and I didn't own before I went out to the cinema. I hope you enjoyed this short vlog, and there are more videos on the way. I've had the flat to myself this weekend, so I have been filming little tidbits here and there, back to back, so I am looking forward to putting some of those out. I'm trying to stick to like 1 or 2 videos a week, because I'm trying to fit it around studying and my final placement, so that's got to take all my attention. But there will be more videos coming, that's a promise. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for all the support so far. It really is amazing. When I shared my first video 2 weeks ago, I was expecting like 20 views, mainly from family and friends, and then maybe like 5 subscribers. And I think I'm at 150 subscribers, and I don't even want to say how many views, but it's a lot more than, 20. So thank you so much, and please just keep supporting the channel because I'm really enjoying doing it. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to try and enjoy the rest of mine. Hopefully this party that's going on outside, if you can hear it, doesn't go on until midnight. But if it does, maybe I'll have to just go down and join them.